talk shows. It's time to spread the word to friends, family, and the universe. 24 hours of music and talk. Radio without limits. That's why people keep coming back for more. That's ubnradio.com.
Hey, everybody. It is Wednesday, March the 2nd. I'm Emerson Collins, and you're listening to The Dell and Emerson Show. Straight talk. Real guy. Obviously, once again, Del Shores is gallivanting around the country, so the gay view returns with our regular cast of characters. Blake McIver.
Hi, Emerson Collins.
Oh, hi.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Happy to be back.
Matthew Scott Montgomery.
Yo. What's up, neighbors?
Going on? Hi.
Hey.
And last and not least, Ashanti Mozelle.
Hello.
What's up, boss?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Does anybody have any exciting news to share?
I do.
What? Oh my gosh! It's like it's brand new. I didn't even know that you were going to have something.
Oh my
that you had
gosh!
to
What a
say.
surprise!
Matthew, what's happening in your life?
So I'm really excited about this. I start rehearsals next week for a show at the Geffen Playhouse here in LA, which I'm really excited about. Ever since I've known what the Geffen is, I've wanted to work there. So it's such a dream come true. The show's called Stage Kiss. You heard it here first. We open April 5th and we run through May.
Awesome.
And so I will be posting stuff about that, obviously obnoxiously, on my Instagram, Twitter, probably Snapchat too, and my Facebook fan page. But yeah, you heard it here first. You catch me at the Geffen this April and May.
Yes,
Hey.
as you should. The headphones are being weird. Did that happen to anybody else?
Yeah, it's
Okay.
happening in mine.
It just got cracked. We're good. It's like one side keeps going out.
Do you want to trade? Mine are good.
There we go. I think it's fine. I know what I sound
There we
like. For those of you listening at home that are not in Los Angeles, the Geffen is definitely one of the premier venues for actors to have the opportunity to perform at.
Yeah,
so that's
8 shows
really
a week.
Exciting.
Yeah, I've been hitting up my Broadway friends and being like, Blake included. I was talking to Blake the other day. We had brunch the other day, and I was like, please give me advice. What's it like to have 8 shows a week? So I'm ready for it.
All right.
Woohoo!
Get
Yeah.
it.
Yes, well, we have lots of show. The Oscars were this weekend. Yesterday was Super Tuesday. Y'all, I'm exhausted, and it is only Wednesday.
So
Right?
tired.
This
Yay.
week, this is like breathe and push out. Get through
Yeah.
this week.
Oh.
Like it's Wednesday.
Oh my God.
Oh,
Hasn't been like that for me, but yeah.
Exactly.
wow.
So many things.
Breathe and push out, baby.
So we'll get to the news and have an exciting conversation.
Yeah.
Okay.
We will kick it off in our equality update. Some exciting stories to keep up on. We've talked several times on the show about the New Jersey conversion therapy decision. It was challenged all the way up to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court has refused to hear the case, meaning that the New Jersey ban on conversion therapy remains in effect, which
Praise
is
the
exciting.
Lord.
The more times they deny it, the more times it spreads across our country. So it is a great thing to hear that. Del Shores is flying across the country and texting me at the same time. And he says that he is ready for us to call him. So shall we do that? And also an exciting story that we had talked about in South Dakota. Passed a bill through their state legislature that would have banned trans students from using the correct restrooms, locker rooms, and other gender-specific facilities in public schools. Well, yesterday down to the wire at the very last minute, the governor of South Dakota clearly heard the outcry from equality-minded individuals, and he vetoed that bill. So
nice.
that's really exciting. They would have been
Great.
one of the
South
worst
Dakota, okay,
states
New
in the
Jersey.
country for trans students. So that was turned down, and probably a result of national pressure and national advocacy. So for those of you that signed petitions and made your opinion known outside of South Dakota, you can still go visit Mount Rushmore.
Yeah.
Hooray.
So that's exciting.
Awesome.
Do we have him?
Hello.
Del Shores.
Hey.
Hey, Del.
How are you?
Where are you?
I am at
Ooh.
the Dallas
What
Airport.
is that beep?
at,
We can tell.
DFW gate 46 in Terminal B.
Don't
If
tell everyone where
anybody
you
wants
are.
to hurry over here
Just
and make
show
out
up.
with me, just
Right.
to shock the locals.
Oh my God.
Perfect. Where are you headed?
I am going to Pensacola.
Oh.
I have a really wonderful few days of events there, working with an amazing organization called Appetite for Life. And I will be doing 2 shows there on Saturday night. And there's a couple of events before that, hosting a bingo and, just raising money for an amazing organization. And then I have many shows in Florida. I've got Tampa. I've got Tallahassee on Sunday night. And then just go to my Facebook. It's Tallahassee, Fort Myers, Fort Lauderdale. I'm going to run to Atlanta, Emerson, for a few days, for 3 days between all of this. And I'm going to have an investor sort of cocktail reception at Henry's on Tuesday at 7:30. Tuesday, I believe it's the 8th. And my good friend Matt Belcher and Joey Helton and our investor Steve is going to be helping with that. So we're just, working it.
Yay, that's so
Nice.
exciting.
That's great news.
So, yes, if
Great
you want to
news.
find tickets to all of the mini shows on this mini tour, head to Dell's Facebook page, Del Shores Fan Club, and show up.
It's so funny, guys. I landed here as soon as I walk off. You know, Emerson, how it is when you walk off, you just smell fried chicken and barbecue. And
Yes.
Yummy. Love it.
Right?
and a lot of big hair, a lot of hairstyles
course.
that stood still. A lot of them.
As they're
So
many.
much.
Looking at me.
Mhm.
So, anyway, thank you guys. I'm not going to keep y'all because I know you got lots of shit to talk about. So, thank you
much.
boys for all three of you for stepping in for me. You know, it takes three to fill my spot.
Doesn't it?
Wow.
It does.
I mean.
I like Dell's Angels.
It's like a little sort of an orgy there at UBN today.
Oh.
Oh,
Well.
Why is
Yeah.
that?
I missed
That's
that when I walked
that's-
in.
Well, that's what me and all of the fans are envisioning. We
Gotcha.
just are having,
I
yeah.
see.
We're-
No Pants Wednesday.
Yeah, none of us
We're
were.
just, yeah, a lot of hope. A lot of hope.
A hump day
All
hoedown.
right.
All right,
you,
travel
boys.
safe.
Thank you.
Bye,
Bye,
Del.
Del.
Okay, man. All right, in other equality update news, Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, that many of us have seen and been a little thirsty about. Have you seen this man? Because
No.
he is very handsome.
Dreamy.
I have not.
Dreamy.
It'll be
No.
up
What
on
is
that
his
screen
name? He's
in a
the
minute.
Canadian Prime
He is the
Minister?
Canadian Prime Minister. He will be the first sitting Canadian Prime Minister to be in a Pride parade this summer, and has been very outspoken on equality for women and LGBT people in Canada. Well, he just recently pardoned posthumously Everett George Clippert, who was arrested and imprisoned in 1966 for being gay. His case is largely credited for bringing about change in Canada's laws on homosexuality because he was deemed a dangerous sexual offender because a government-appointed psychiatrist decided his homosexuality was incurable after he voluntarily told police he'd had consensual sex with 4 men. So he was charged with gross indecency and sentenced to preventative detention, which was basically putting him in prison with an indefinite prison term because for being sort of a serial likely offender. Well, 6 weeks later, Pierre Trudeau, the current prime minister's father, was the justice minister at the time who went on to become prime minister as well, introduced a bill that called for the decriminalization of private consensual homosexual acts between people over the age of 21. Clippert was released 5 years later from prison, and he died in 1996, but Justin has overturned that decision. And it's interesting.
Justin.
I think about this. That was 50 years ago, but this
Yeah.
man, just for saying I had sex with 4 men, was put in prison essentially indefinitely.
Yeah.
Right.
In Canada,
Right.
you know, but this is,
Yeah.
and these cases are important, and I think the symbolism of these gestures does matter. I'm sure to his surviving family, that says something, and it's important, and it acknowledges that sometimes we can't undo the actions at the time, but we can acknowledge that it's something we shouldn't have done at all.
Right.
So I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah.
Way to go,
That's
Justin.
powerful.
Thanks.
And in other news, and this one affects several of us, each can decide whether or not it would apply to you.
Okay.
Indonesia just banned drag queens and effeminate men from television.
Oh,
A directive from the Indonesian Broadcasting Commission was issued after receiving complaints from viewers, and it now bans, wait for it, men wearing feminine fashion.
Okay.
Damn.
There she goes.
Oh.
Men wearing feminine makeup.
They can wear masculine makeup, though.
Right.
Of course.
just a boy beat.
Feminine body language exhibited by men, included but not limited to walking style, sitting style, hand gestures, okay,
no, that
and
rules
other
you out.
behaviors.
Out.
Men speaking in a feminine way, what?
Uh-oh.
Depicting justifications or promoting that men can behave effeminately. Depicting a man greeting another man in ways that are supposed to be for women, which I assume is hey girl hey. Depicting terminologies and colloquial terms that are often used by effeminate males.
Listen, Mary.
Exactly.
Right.
Like I
Throwing it
like,
way back.
I would have. I could be on television if it was a still picture.
Right.
That would be
exactly.
it.
Yeah.
You could take a
Exactly.
frozen picture of me from the neck up,
Yeah.
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 and
that
that's
would
it.
have to be it. Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. Because
I feel like they might have problems with my hairstyle.
fashion,
They
makeup,
might.
all of that. That
Yeah, I
whole
don't think
list.
I don't think
I'm
any of
done.
us qualify to be
None.
on
That's
That's some
Indonesian
bullshit.
television.
Walking style, sitting style,
Right.
hand gestures.
Right.
No limp
I talk
wrists.
with my
I talk with
hands.
all of my hands. I talk with my hands and your hands.
Yeah. Exactly.
So we shouldn't go to Indonesia for spring
Basically,
break.
what there's.
No.
I mean, not if we.
Probably not.
Well, I mean, we ain't gonna
We
be on
can't
TV.
be on TV.
Oh, okay, we can
So-
go.
We can
Yeah, you
visit.
just can't be on TV.
So no spring break Bali.
Okay,
No.
Getting on TV,
No,
MTV
no.
Bali.
No.
But it's interesting and fascinating, and of course, really genuinely tragic to suggest to young males in Indonesia or anywhere that there's a specific kind of behavior
It's
or
super,
look
super
that is
damaging.
Yeah.
one masculine or two associated with male.
Yeah.
So it's funny in a sad way.
Indonesia needs some Justin Trudeau.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
Hey.
everybody needs a little Justin Trudeau.
Yeah.
Right?
Amen.
It's
I
Trudeau.
support that. And
That's
that's
Trudeau.
I don't think you could say that on Indonesian television. I feel like they would say no.
Trudeau.
That's on the line.
Das Trudeau.
You got to say it with a lot of bass.
Yeah.
That's Trudeau.
That's
That's
Trudeau.
Trudeau.
That's Trudeau.
Stop moving your hands, Emerson.
Yeah, just
I'd have to
That's
sit on
Trudeau.
mine.
Yeah.
Just done.
I don't know about your sitting style then.
I know.
Oh, damn.
Like so many things.
So many things to think about.
Well, there goes my Indonesian television
Fuck
career.
it.
All right. Well,
that's
before we
alright.
get to the nonsense of yesterday, let's start with the weekend and the Oscars.
All right.
Gentlemen,
Here we go.
we all watched.
Here we
course
go.
we did.
Yes.
I partial watched.
Okay.
Okay, go ahead.
Well, let's
What
start
parts?
at the very beginning.
Yeah, y'all start from the beginning.
Yeah.
We'll
Very
just
good place
I'll
to
come into
start.
where I started.
Wait,
Okay.
did you start in the middle?
Yeah, where did
Of course you did.
you didn't see Chris Rock at the beginning?
I was I did watch that. I watched
Yeah.
that online.
Okay.
But I didn't see the show in its entirety on its air date.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, let's start at the very beginning with Chris's monologue. The hashtag Oscar So White that was begun on Twitter
Yes.
by a user
Yeah.
named Reign of April, actually, for last year. What did you think of the opening monologue? I feel like as a black man,
He did
what
that.
was your
I mean,
response?
I felt like he took on the task of keeping the job of being the host of that show. So he went for it.
Yeah.
And I appreciated it.
Yeah.
Head
His
on,
humor.
full force.
Exactly. He went
Yeah.
for it. And it was awesome. He did a really good job.
I find his comedy to be incredibly
Yes.
smart in the first place. He
For
walks
sure.
a very great
For sure.
dangerous line in comedy, making genuine commentary through humor.
Right.
I think as a white person, I was uncomfortable in the way I
Of
was
course.
supposed to be.
Of course.
That as an
Yeah.
actor
Of
and a
course.
producer
Right.
that works in the entertainment industry, I can laugh. Sort of, but you're also
Right.
talking to me. It's incumbent upon me to ensure that the work
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
create reflects the diversity of the world
The
around
world,
us. And I
for
thought that
sure.
opening was a brilliant
I
piece
thought it
of
was too.
stand-up.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
I like that he took, all of those risks. The best Oscar hosts of the past have taken, risks, even on whatever level. Like, it reminded me of Billy Crystal, some of Billy Crystal's bits, some of Bob Hope's bits. It was great.
Yeah.
I thought it was fine. I'm such a stan for Ellen and her Oscars a couple years ago. I
Sure.
know it doesn't make sense to compare or whatever,
I
but
think that's fair.
I kept finding myself comparing myself to that. But he did have a difficult task ahead of him because I think the first thing he said immediately, I forget what it was. I wish I knew, but he immediately just addressed race and talked about it and pretty much that was all that he talked about. Which, as you this year, you had to. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Cheryl Boone Isaacs came out and made her statement
Yes.
about that and stuff like that. And I think what was interesting about. And everyone online and everywhere, please correct me if I'm wrong. Just like everyone corrected Sam Smith when he was wrong.
We'll get to that.
But I think as far as the winners went, it wasn't really until it wasn't till Brie Larson won that we had a straight white American win. It was very international. Our
Yes,
winners
for
were
sure.
Right.
Yeah.
all over the place. You know
Right.
what I mean?
Yeah.
So as far as diversity goes, maybe not racially, but I felt like they did a really good job of handling the race card with how things had to go.
Exactly.
And then the winners, those who won, we had a pretty, diverse group of winners, I
Yeah.
feel like,
Yeah.
all things considered,
That's
outside
true.
of skin color kind
I
of.
agree.
I did find that as the show went on, it seemed like Chris disappeared a little bit,
Yeah.
which does sort of tend to
Yeah.
happen. But
The
it
Girl
did,
Scout cookies fell flat for me, TBH.
Yeah, that didn't work for me.
that was sort of like Neil Patrick
Yeah.
Harris's magic
Yeah.
box.
Yeah,
it was
Like
which
Ellen's,
also didn't work.
Ellen this, Ellen that. Ellen's selfie worked for me so well.
It
and I
did.
thought that was
The
a total
pizza bit
blast.
worked.
Yeah,
Well,
the pizza bit
and the Girl
works.
Scout cookies felt like you need to do something like what Ellen did to set the internet on fire. I was
Yeah.
like, well, that monologue sort of did it.
Yeah.
that
that's
was
all he
enough.
needed.
That was
That's all
enough.
he needed.
And
That was it.
now, but for a moment, can we talk about?
Do we have to?
I don't want to.
Stacey
It's
Dash.
so
Yes!
embarrassing because
Stacey
that's
Dash!
my character. Why are you?
Stacey Dash?
That was the only time I felt really uncomfortable.
That
Yeah.
was very uncomfortable. She was
still
uncomfortable.
doesn't get it. She still doesn't get it.
no.
She doesn't know that she was the joke.
Exactly.
my brother was at the Academy Awards, and I was asking him what the vibe was like in the room. How was the audience reacting? Who was cool? Who was not? Like all that kind of stuff. And he said it was a good vibe until Stacey Dash came out, and that was the only time he felt like the energy of
Yeah,
uncomfortable. Despite
because you
everything else
didn't
that she
know.
said.
if it was supposed to be a joke, if you were supposed to be laughing at her,
And
like
she
what was
She
happening.
didn't seem to be in on it.
Yeah,
and,
it
like,
was
no one knew how to
weird.
react,
It was
and,
so
like, Chris Rock seemed
awkward.
embarrassed to
yeah,
have to do it.
it was awkward.
To me, it felt like she was the joke, but it was a specific joke for people that pay attention to like everything that happens in media on a daily basis. Like if you read Twitter all day long.
I accidentally knew what she was talking about because I caught it online.
That she had talked about there shouldn't be a Black History Month.
Yes.
So for her to stand up there and say that I'm here to represent, like, but I still feel like the writers wrote it at her expense,
Absolutely.
and she didn't understand that.
Right.
No.
It just was
She is
a
so
weird moment. It
interesting.
was so interesting.
You were so nice about
Yeah,
it.
that's
Yeah,
like-
you are
that's
because
sweet.
she's still clueless.
Right.
I know.
Okay.
I
Stuck.
know. Not
Stuck.
Dion. She's not Dion.
She's not Dion.
Well, thank
Dion
God,
would not have
because
grown up
D-
to act like this.
It's taking
I
us
can't-
like 20 years or whatever, however long it
saying.
is.
Like they
to,
should have had
accept
Amber, Elise Donovan, just walk out and go, I can't.
Yes.
Right after
When he
Stacey.
said Stacey Dash, I was like, "Oh God, here comes some." I thought it was. I did not expect actually her. I thought it
Yeah.
would be someone
Right.
in drag or like some
Right.
some kind of joke about
Leslie
it.
Jones.
It
So
was so
it was-
uncomfortable.
It
playing
was
the role
her.
of Stacey
Yeah,
Dash.
right.
Yeah. Oof.
Her dress was beautiful though.
She looked
Sorry,
lovely.
she looked
trying to find
fantastic.
positive.
Well, she
Yeah,
always
I have
does
to.
look
She
lovely.
does.
Yeah,
She's
she's so
gorgeous.
beautiful.
Yeah.
For a crazy
She doesn't
size,
really
she-
age either.
No,
She's like
49.
Yeah.
Really?
Unreal.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. She was like 30 when
beautiful
she
and
did
interesting.
Clueless.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, she was.
Well, at least she has that.
Yeah.
You know what I found about the show in general, though? I liked a lot of the movies this year, but I found the new structure didn't do anything for me. Like, let's tell the movie the order of how you make a movie.
Oh, yes.
Nope.
Yeah.
For the
Oh,
awards.
Nope.
Meh.
I didn't care.
It didn't matter.
The
It didn't
ticker tape
work.
thing at the bottom with thanking people, I understand how that would be helpful
Yes.
for the people who win and who are nominated. However, for
Yeah.
us at home, a lot of us who, I mean, we're all actor, but everyone else in the world, it robbed it of its magic because all I could think about was them having to 5 people having to send their stuff in
Submit,
first,
yeah.
and someone
Right,
typing it
right,
out.
right.
You know what I mean?
Well, and also, there's something,
It's kinda
regardless of
cheesy.
all of the trouble and issues and diversity things and all the important things we're talking about in the film industry, the glory of the Oscars is that it's supposed to be sort of magical and elegant
Yeah.
and a little bit better than everything
And
else.
that's the thing. Like, that's what I felt was lacking throughout the entire thing. It was like when Craig Zaden and Neil Marin produced it, it felt like a, it felt like a big glitzy show.
Were you
And-
here for the animated opening sequence where they're putting like hearts and passion together and shooting it forward in a rainbow circle to make an Oscar?
No.
I mean, well,
I fell for it.
I thought that was
liked
funny because it made it seem like Oscars
You didn't
were
see the
made out of
beginning. You
gay
don't know what
people.
we're talking about,
I have no
Ashanti.
idea.
It looked
I
like
didn't see
Oscars were
it.
made out of
I'm gonna
gay
have to
people.
go back.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
in a good. I mean,
didn't
because
like that?
all the behind the scenes.
Listen,
I'm gonna
I
have
didn't
to
mind
go
the
back.
Just give me
animation.
a glitter curtain.
But like the on-screen
there was a lot
IMDb
of glitz and glam
credits.
and bling on stage. It was the glitziest, glammiest as far as aesthetically with diamonds and shit. I feel like,
But like not feeling classy.
I guess
though.
not.
yeah, it
Yeah.
didn't feel classy.
The
That was
on-screen
problem.
IMDb credits, like these are some of the most famous people literally in the
it
world.
pulled focus for me too.
It did.
Yeah.
They dressed to the nines, designer everything.
Well, I feel like it's that thing, like
Yeah.
where we had the big stumble with Anne Hathaway and James Franco a few years ago. Not their fault. It's like trying to appeal to a younger audience and trying things like this seems young. Look, old people. I mean, young people don't know where this person's from. Putting that up there and like they're just a second away from putting a hashtag at the bottom. You know what I mean? They're
Yeah.
they're trying to
Yeah.
adapt. To
Which,
that
and I
stuff.
get other shows doing that and whatever, but there is something that we can modernize what is recognized and still keep the fact that Hollywood glamour should be a special thing.
Yeah.
Right.
I agree.
You know?
And it's its own brand. You don't need to rebrand the Oscars.
yeah, it's a
True.
good thing.
Yeah.
It's
a tricky era.
The 2 stories related to this. There were only 3 of the songs were performed, and it was interesting on a night that was so specifically about diversity, the diversity of the industry. I did love Cheryl Boone Isaac speaking because she has definitely worked hard to very quickly respond and make changes. But so there were 5 nominees for song. The 2 that didn't perform, one was a duo, but the other was the first trans woman nominated for an Oscar.
Oh, really?
Wow.
An artist named Anoni, and
have I
she
been?
sang the song Manta Ray
Oh, yeah.
for the documentary Racing Extinction. And she didn't go because she wasn't asked to perform. But I thought if you're talking about diversity, they clearly went with we're going to have the famous people perform. But that was also a super easy way to say, well, let's recognize the diversity
Right,
that we
right.
do have.
Yeah.
Yeah, but also ratings.
Right?
Do you know what I mean? And I feel like if they had this is, and I'm just playing devil's advocate here. If they had 3 minutes of like someone who's kind of unknown singing a song, who's going to tune out to that? You know what I mean? As opposed to
Yes.
having a Sam Smith or Lady Gaga or The Weeknd.
But theoretically, and people say that she's amazing, so it's also, you often discover things that you
Yeah.
don't know.
Yeah,
So
of
it's
course.
great.
There's an
Of
opportunity
course.
there.
I just feel like the show was 3.5 hours long, and 2 minutes for the first trans woman to be nominated for an Oscar for Best
yeah.
Song.
Yeah.
Could have traded
It's a
for 2 minutes
worthwhile
of something
moment.
else.
Yeah.
Well, any of those
somewhere.
dumb bits, that
Stacey
Girl
Dash.
Scout bit, or Stacey Dash.
But
could've
so
done
I want those 45 45 seconds.
So ashamed of her.
And the 3 musical performances, The Weeknd.
The
Weeknd.
Yeah.
Was great.
It is fine.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sam Smith seemed nervous to me.
Terrible.
Yeah.
Is he losing more weight? Like he's like shrinking.
I think
He's
I have
getting really
stuff to say
slim.
about Sam Smith if we're just going ahead.
Well,
and
let's
doing
do
this.
go.
that
Let's-
one.
yeah,
Let's
let's
do him
wait.
in a second with what led into the nonsense. Because
Yeah.
let's finish
Oh.
with Lady Gaga
Yeah.
singing "Till It Happens to You" from the Hunting
The
Ground.
Queen?
Spectacular.
I enjoyed that
Spectacular.
immensely.
I
Thoroughly.
thought
It was
her
great.
emotional commitment,
Yeah.
to the story of the song, she and Diane
Exactly.
both
Right.
being survivors, and then to have all of those people that are genuine survivors
Yeah.
of sexual assault walk
Yeah.
out onto the stage
fantastic.
was chilling.
So powerful.
It was
Yeah.
fantastic.
And somebody reported from the balcony of the Oscars that when they finished that number, as the survivors came off the stage through the audience, Brie Larson stood up and
There's-
hugged
there's
every
footage.
person
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
walked past.
Oh,
the
wow.
stage.
And I will say, my brother this, my brother that, but he was at the rehearsals for the Academy Awards as well and saying how Gaga's rehearsal, how everyone was watching every second of it and how she took time with all of the survivors there to get to know them. And that was the longest part of the rehearsal, even though the performance itself was probably
Yeah,
half of
like-
what the length
Yeah.
of the
Yeah,
song.
it is
Yeah.
about half.
But I just have it's such a good time to be Lady Gaga. I have such mad respect for her, especially hearing behind the scenesy stuff and things like
Yeah.
that.
But that said, I thought they shot it terribly.
Right, yeah.
These random super zooms to Lady Gaga's face. We didn't have like the straight on shot of
Yeah.
her with the piano with all of them
yeah, I
around
wanted
her.
Yeah.
to see the full
Yeah, yeah,
stage.
yeah.
It
That's
just
right, I
seemed
didn't think
like
of that.
we didn't plan the camera direction of the number
Yeah.
well. We
Yeah.
had the picture frame that like the guy was in
That-
the way,
yeah,
and then we were
right.
too close to her, and
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
not far. We didn't get the
You
visual
know what?
impact.
As clunky as that was, it didn't pull focus for me, Emerson. I really was still like sobbing like a little, like.
Oh,
It
all
was
of it.
incredibly
No, it was-
impactful.
yeah, it was
I just
totally
thought
emotional.
the
I
people
just-
facilitating the show could have done
deserve
even
better.
more
Yeah.
to
we had
facilitate
a couple
the moment.
shaky moments. I was watching my best friend turn to her a couple times. I'm like, someone just got fired like a couple times.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, wow.
You're right, it's a little clunky.
And I loved her outfit. They were great.
Yeah.
It was great.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
finally, Sam Smith went on to win, and sort of shortly after that performance, the Oscar for Best Original Song.
Who
for
said yuck?
Blake?
Blake said yuck. Why did you say yuck?
Does that surprise you?
Well,
I
yeah,
don't know.
I was surprised by the win. I thought
Who
it was
did you think-
completely.
Gaga?
I thought Gaga should have won. I thought Till It
Okay.
Happens to You should have won.
want her to get
She
the
wants to.
EGOT.
I was just going
I
to say she
know.
wants that so bad.
I feel like there can be more opportunities.
Yeah,
for
there
that
will
for
be.
her.
I feel like
but that was a
I
great
feel like
song.
the Oscars
though.
the trickiest one, don't you think?
It is.
It is,
It's
but
the
I feel
hardest
like
one.
there's the opportunity for her down the road,
As an
actressing in a
actor,
TV
yeah.
in a movie musical to land it.
I hope
Here's
so.
the thing that Sam Smith proved: it is possible to win an Oscar and ruin your career all in the same night.
I don't think it
Oh,
went that
wow.
far.
I don't think
Okay.
it's that
For
deep.
those of you who may have missed it, Sam
missed
Smith
it.
immediately got into hot water for launching into his acceptance speech by saying, "I think I heard this, and this may or may not be true, but I'm the first out person to win an
yeah.
Oscar." And the internet lost its mind
because what
it's
he missed. Ian McKellen said there was no openly gay actor to win an Academy
Right.
Award,
yes.
and
And
that's,
so that led to a sort of immediate evisceration on Twitter
Oh.
and the interwebs.
Who
There-
hated him?
First and foremost, there are a number
oh,
of
you don't know what happened, Ashanti?
I
Okay, let's give it to him.
There,
Twitter.
well, but first in the moment, because obviously a
This
number
will be fun,
of
listen.
openly gay
good.
people have won, and specifically have won that category. So that's factually incorrect. And
Right.
the immediate response to that was, well, he's not an American. He may not have known. But my counter to that is, if you're going to
But
stand
don't
up and
say
plan to
that.
speak on behalf and for and to a
Yeah.
community,
Google.
do a little research.
Yeah.
Like, I get that
Google.
he misread the Ian McKellen headline.
Yeah.
But if the only information you had going in to speak about something was a single headline,
Right.
like you.
I
Maybe just say thank you and I'm thrilled to be here as an
Exactly.
openly gay man.
Done.
I
Period.
think
That would have been
he's-
enough.
He's young, naive, new to all of this, and had no idea that he was actually going to win, so had nothing prepared really to say.
I respect that,
think,
and I
yeah.
have made many excuses for him. People, complained about Sam Smith when he sort of shaded people that use Grindr and Tinder, saying it kills romance. He talked about not wanting to use pronouns in his music because he wants to sell more albums, and so a number of the gay community have been irritated with him, and I
Yeah.
have stood by
Yeah.
that he's young. But you do reach a point 2 years in where you've been criticized enough times about things you've spoken about to the community where it does start to be, what the reaction's going to be when you speak, so do plan.
Yes.
Now, that's part one.
That's part one.
Now, for
The
those of
end.
you who missed this,
Okay.
it was a late night on
Okay.
Sunday.
But gay
I was
Twitter lost their
lounging on the
minds.
couch. It was 11:30 Pacific time. The East Coast had already gone to bed.
I saw some East Coast tweets saying I got to stay up.
And this happened. Dustin Lance Black, Oscar-winning screenwriter for Milk, tweeted the following statement. Hey, at Sam Smith World, if you have no idea who I am, it may be time to stop texting my fiance. Here's a start, and put a link to his Oscar speech.
Baloop.
Okay, now I have to admit that in the moment, I did not react very maturely. I, along with many of the late night Twitter homosexuals, were like, oh my gosh, like everyone's gonna remember where they were when Dustin Lance Black, like the clapback heard round the gay world.
Emerson.
Well, I was just like fascinated and appalled and like scared and terrified and excited to see what was gonna happen.
Right.
So there was a giant pause while everyone got themselves really worked up, and people either said Dustin's being petty, if you have, it's reflection of your fiance, if you're worried about him. People were like, Sam Smith is so like it immediately became like team one or team the other, and I was like, first of all, like this is ridiculous. This is Twitter.
Right.
But in the morning, Dustin Lance Black tweeted, the point, knowing our LGBTQ history is important. We stand on the shoulders of countless brave men and women who paved the way for us. And lots of people were like, you were shady last night. You don't get to be the big person today.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Ian McKellen weighed in, tweeted, I'd said no openly gay actor had received Oscars. That doesn't detract from Sam Smith's achievement. Congratulations to him and all others. True.
Right.
Sam tweeted, second openly gay man to win an Oscar, or third or fourth or 100. That it wasn't my point. My apologies for the mix-up, Dustin Lance Black. I'll be sure to check out your films now. Belated congrats on the Oscar. And lots of people were like, ooh, we're like being shady back and forth.
He was definitely coming for him.
Except then this happened, and this is sort of my favorite like moral of the story. Dustin Lance Black tweeted, well, this has proven to be a lively day on Twitter. From humor to anger, the former my intent in defense of history. Much love to all. Dear Internet, Tom Daley and Sam Smith are pals. They text. Thus my surprise, Sam took me for a closet case. Feel free to laugh. So I found this really interesting because people came really hard for Dustin Lance Black, saying you're a leader in the community. Why are you being shady when you could have educated a young person? People were like, why doesn't Sam Smith know better? And sort of what it turns out is we were all watching a little bit of an inside joke of like, we're friends. You're really good friends with my fiance.
That just shows you how dangerous tweeting because you project onto what you see.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
You make
like,
assumptions about the intention.
I've been with people who have very many followers on Twitter about to tweet something. I'm like, maybe don't send that out. You know, like don't tweet angry. Like, why don't you just like chill out for a little bit and then think about what you're going to say, because once it's on the internet, you're accountable for it forever.
Wow.
And Sam Smith is now taking a break from Twitter. Did you see that?
Yeah, but he didn't even say, it wasn't like, I'm going to take a break. It was like, I just need to log off for a while. But that, like till tomorrow, till a week from now, I feel like everyone read into that a little bit too.
I'm one of those then. I projected.
For me, the sad thing is it took away from the most important part of this whole thing, and that is his vocal performance at the Oscars was appalling.
So there you go.
Appalling.
Wow.
Like a screeching cat.
It was bad.
Being
It was bad.
skinned alive.
Well,
skin.
that's specific.
Did you see that part, Ashanti?
I did see that.
I'm sorry.
And bless his heart,
I did.
it didn't help that Lady
He's
Gaga
really
had
talented. It
just
just wasn't his night.
torn the walls off the building like right before he won, and she has super gay fans, and you
She
know
killed it.
She really did.
So he's sort of suffered from like all things in a whirling storm, and we didn't even get into the Howard Ashman comment that he made
Right.
afterwards.
God, I
'cause
can't.
Where he was trying to make he is 23 years old, and I do say that there has to be room. This is my final thought. One, there has to be room between absolving someone of no responsibility and eviscerating them completely.
Yes.
It is okay to say Sam Smith should do a little research before he speaks. I don't think you can say he's the worst thing to ever happen to the gay community and how embarrassing that he's our biggest pop star. Right. Like there has to be room between he didn't do anything wrong and he's the worst person ever.
Yeah.
We should be somewhat gracious in educating each other. I'm not perfect. I'm problematic.
Right.
If I had that platform, if people were reading everything that I thought, even if the whole world were listening to this radio show, people could pull out 15-second clips, and I'll be like,
That's true.
I was kidding. Like you just
So Stacey Dash is beautiful and interesting, and Sam Smith, congratulations on your Academy Award.
perfect. So we'll use that.
Perfect.
Okay.
Any final thoughts on the Oscars?
Perfect.
Nah, I think that's it.
I'm good.
All right. Related, because it happens the night before, the Independent Spirit Awards had a super exciting and groundbreaking moment when trans actress Maya Taylor won Best Supporting Actress for the film Tangerine. She's the first trans performer to win an Independent Spirit Award, and I loved her speech. It was very sweet and charming.
I think I saw that movie.
There's a great clip of it
That's one
online.
shot
The
entirely
speech.
on an iPhone.
They shot the whole movie on an iPhone.
Yeah, I did see that. It was good.
And she said as she went to the stage, first of all, no one tells you how nervous you're going to be when you're up against other big actors for an award. There's so many things that go through your head. Am I going to trip on this long-ass dress getting up here? I had come from almost nothing, then got this role, and this movie in my life just did a total 360. And then at the end, she said, what I want to leave you all with is there is transgender talent. There is very beautiful transgender talent. You better get out there and put it in your next movie.
Yeah,
Good for her.
it's on Netflix. That's what.
Is
I
it
think.
really?
Yeah, it's on
Yeah,
Netflix.
it is. It's available to watch.
That's where I saw it.
Okay, good to know.
But I felt like that was such a great example, though. She was clearly nervous and excited in the moment, but she still managed to say something on behalf of her community that was simply, I'm not the only one. It's not just about me. Please
Right.
give other talented people
Yeah.
like
An
me
opportunity.
the opportunity.
Yeah.
And in being super nervous, still managed to speak, charming and delightfully well.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
great. That's awesome.
So I love that. Trendsetter news.
Nice.
Okay. Yesterday, and we'll do this quickly, but we have a couple of fun stories that go with it. Super Tuesday. Was it
God.
super? It was a lot.
It was a
It was.
lot.
I saw this on BuzzFeed,
Yes.
so it's definitely true. But like, yesterday had the highest since like 2004 Google searches for moving to Canada.
I saw that as well.
Oh,
Yeah, the end.
I did see and some.
That hot prime minister that's coming in there.
That's
I mean,
why.
Trudeau.
That's why
Yeah,
people
maybe
are like,
that's
hey,
it.
maybe.
Maybe that's
Team
yeah,
Justin.
Just saying.
So it was a huge day for Hillary
Justin
Clinton
Trudeau.
and Donald Trump. She won 8 states to Bernie Sanders 4. Donald Trump won 7 to Cruz's 3, and Rubio's 1. Ben Carson finally dropped out today, and probably
womp womp.
went back to actual sleeping.
cares?
Since 1988,
Who
both
cares?
candidates in both
That's
parties
exactly how he acts.
that won on Super Tuesday received the party's nomination since 1988.
Okay.
So that means it is super incredibly likely
There we
that
go.
we're headed towards
Clinton
a
and
Hillary
Trump.
Clinton versus Donald Trump
This is scary.
match.
Both of these.
which
I
feeds
can't.
into that whole conspiracy theory that Bill Clinton set this whole thing up for us to have Hillary's presidency.
Well,
Oh,
guess we'll find out if that
have you
works
seen that
out.
picture going viral?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I have.
But stories that happened leading up to it. Obviously, the Republicans have all been rather terrible about LGBT people. Ted Cruz worse than most. He created there's a super PAC supporting Ted Cruz in South Carolina last week that made a commercial making Donald Trump seem super LGBT friendly. Also, sidebar, I'm going to try to do this. I'm making a commitment to do it. If you haven't seen the 20-minute John Oliver clip destroying Donald Trump, that ends with the original family name of Donald Trump was Drumpf, D-R-U-M-P-F.
That's, okay, now everything on Twitter makes sense.
Right.
It's a hilarious takedown of his willingness to just say one thing, and if you counter that once upon a time he said something else, he just ignores it, denies it, and a lot of people just think that Trump means success because of the word and his name and the brand. He said, let's take it back to the original family name, which is Drumpf. So I'm going to try from here on out to only say Donald Drumpf.
Okay.
As a reminder of that.
Hilarious. That's some great.
There's this thing
facts.
going on Twitter right now, Ashanti. A hashtag make Donald
Drumpf
again.
And that's what it's related to. Check it
Okay.
out. John
Yeah, I'll
Oliver.
say
It's a
John
20-minute
Oliver.
clip,
Got
and
it.
it's
It's hard to say.
absolutely worth your time.
That
well,
worked, but that's probably why they changed it.
a PAC supporting Ted Cruz played a lesbian asking Donald Drumpf if there would be more forward motion on equality in a Trump presidency, and Donald Trump's response was, we need to bring all people together. Then the announcer went on to say in this commercial, stop, what does she mean by forward motion? What is he agreeing to? It's not about tolerance, it's about mandatory celebration, forcing clergy to officiate. It's about transgender bathrooms in your child's school. It's about tearing down our Judeo-Christian values. It's about tearing down our America. Ted Cruz for president before it's too late. All of those terrifying predator myths in one commercial.
I guess it's too late.
Good job, Ted Cruz.
Thanks, guy.
And to show the maturity of our current political class, did you see that now that Marco Rubio has decided to meet Donald Trump where he is in the mudslinging contest?
His penis.
Yes, Donald Trump has been regularly calling him Little Marco Rubio. And so Rubio finally fired back. Speaking, he said, he's always calling me Little Marco. And then I'll admit, he's taller than me. He's 6'2", which is why I don't understand why he has hands the size of someone who's 5'2". Have you seen his hands? You know what they say about men with small hands. Giant, giant paws. You can't trust them. Congratulations, ladies and gentlemen. We're just making penis jokes now.
I know.
Like,
this is
it's
pathetic.
junior high. It's not even junior high. It's elementary school.
Yeah, it's fifth
I
grade.
genuinely expect the next round of radio commercials to just be, I'm Robert, you're a glue.
Yeah,
Anything
Yeah.
you say bounces off of me and sticks to you.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oof.
Terrifying.
That was stupid.
Tell
Yeah.
them how I am terrifying.
I'm just terrified about either
Yeah.
Trump or Clinton still. It's
Yeah.
like, what? What
Yeah.
are we? Drumpf, I'm sorry.
There it is. It's hard, but it's worth the effort.
The craziest thing for me from yesterday, though, was that he turned his speech into a full-on press conference.
Yes.
Like, he accepted questions, and they were all scrambling. They weren't expecting that. It was crazy.
And then just ignoring people and
Yeah.
Shouting people
yeah,
down.
just
Of
just a
course.
mess.
That's
But
what he
still,
does.
it was like, good grief.
He answers what
Drumpf.
he wants to answer.
In
Drumpf.
positive political news,
Please,
I
please.
thoroughly enjoy this story. Huey Ray Fisher is a 23-year-old, self-described queer, vegetarian, Latino progressive Democrat on a bicycle running for state representative in Texas for the district that includes the University of Texas in Austin.
Okay.
So he is 23 years old, and he knows that he needs a strong student vote. So he and his campaign staff are using Tinder and Grindr to campaign. They have a dedicated phone in the office for Tinder and Grindr outreach, and the volunteers come in and strike up conversations with people on the two apps, keeping it strictly PG, saying things like, "Hey, how's it going? Are you registered to vote? Go vote in the Democratic primary for Huey Ray Fisher. Huey Ray Fisher is the progressive choice on the ballot," and so on. He did say they've had people try to ask him out, and others ask, "What are you looking for?" And we all know where that goes.
Right.
And they just answer, "Your vote."
Right.
Now,
I love it.
here's my question.
Okay.
For those people who have used dating apps,
Yes.
sometimes people open aggressively
Yeah.
with,
That's
like, say,
true.
a dick pic.
Yes.
That happens. Let's be
Yeah.
honest. It happens.
It does.
People just cut to the chase. So there's some poor, like,
Yeah.
volunteer student on Grindr, like, having to delete some uncomfortable messages. You know it is. They didn't say it in this, but, like,
Yeah.
Of course.
they're like,
But you like a
Now,
ball.
my question is, are the campaign volunteers using their actual pictures on Tinder and Grindr?
I
'Cause
believe
they would
it's
have to,
all
right?
under his photo.
Oh,
Like they're all
okay.
like it says Huey Ray Fisher for president
Right.
for state representative.
Gotcha.
Campaign. You know,
Okay, so they're not misrepresenting.
No,
No,
but they're
okay.
all operating as him.
Gotcha.
But still, you know some of those situations.
vote.
Because some people open with like, "This is the fantasy scenario that I'm looking for." Bloop.
Yeah.
Cut and
Right.
paste.
Yeah.
Wow.
Pee on me.
Thanks.
We just want you to
Your
vote.
I need your
Don't
vote.
pee in the ballot box, please.
Just vote. Uncomfortable.
Just vote.
But that's really smart.
I mean,
think
it's
it's
super
fine.
smart.
Yeah,
it's
Totally,
great.
It's a good
totally.
idea.
Way to
fine.
reach young voters.
those
Yeah.
young liberal students.
Exactly.
Yep.
All right, well, let's flash through some other gay news stories really quickly. J.J. Abrams has said that there may be gay characters in Star Wars.
Hooray!
He was asked specifically, he said, "When I
love
talk
it.
about inclusivity, it's not excluding gay characters, it's about inclusivity. I would love it. To me, the fun of Star Wars is the glory of possibility, so it seems insanely narrow-minded and counterintuitive to say that there wouldn't be a homosexual character in that world."
Which
Like,
means that Poe might already be gay.
It's possible.
You guys
I'm
know
so
this?
excited.
Blake is our resident Star Wars fanatic.
He is.
And there was a lot going on around the release of the film on the internet that Poe might be gay because there was no love interest. He's got a bromance.
Who's Poe?
Oscar Isaacs, right?
Oscar Isaac.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't it just Isaac? It's one.
Whatever.
Oscar
All of the Isaacs. Oscar, all of the Isaacs.
I've never seen Star Wars, so I have no
Any of them?
idea.
But the gayest thing that happened in Star Wars news
Never.
this week
Oh.
Sorry.
is that apparently Daisy Ridley went into the studio with Barbara Streisand and is working on a single.
I saw that. Is that true, or is it just a picture?
There's a picture of them together, and JJ had said something about Daisy's working with a superstar.
So Daisy sings.
Yeah. Apparently she sang on the set of Star Wars The Force Awakens, and JJ was like, "Oh my god, your voice is amazing."
Is Babs a Star Wars fan?
I don't know.
I feel like
My world would explode, implode.
cares?
that would be too many
Right.
things. That's dangerous.
Blake cares. That's who cares.
No, I didn't mean like that. It doesn't matter at that point. Who cares? It's just
Yeah.
do it.
Anyway, sorry, I wasted too
No,
much time
I mean,
on gay
there-
Star
yeah,
Wars
no,
news.
that's exactly right. There's a super
It is a
conspiracy.
super confusing,
all the
amazing
slash
picture.
fiction written about the Finn Poe
So
romance.
which character was Poe? Was the black character? Or
No,
the
no,
white
that's
character?
Finn.
Okay.
These two.
Those
Lots
two.
of people want them to be in a romantic relationship.
I don't
Cute.
think Finn
That's
is gay.
cute.
I don't think Finn is gay, but I think Poe might be.
This guy is Poe.
Yes.
has
So
a
lots
nice
of people are
jacket.
hoping. Lots of thirst.
So much
Okay.
thirst.
We shall see. We'll have to wait like what, 2 years?
Yeah, you know.
They
No
start,
big deal.
didn't they start shooting already?
Yeah,
Yeah,
but it's
they
still
did.
like that's a lot they have to do.
Oh, I
after
know.
they-
I just
Flashing on.
Right.
I have talked many a times. Dan Savage is one of my personal heroes for his extremely intelligent and incisive and offensively hilarious approach to countering bigotry. Well, he has a brand new TV show, The Real O'Neills, premieres next
Yes.
week on ABC, and he is one of the
Premieres
executive
tonight.
producers. Tonight?
Right?
No, next Tuesday.
Ooh,
the 8th.
I sent out a wrong tweet then.
A Tuesday, March 8th, with 2 episodes around Modern Family. But it's inspired by his life growing up, coming out in a very, very Catholic family, starring Martha Plimpton as the mother.
Just fixing my tweet real fast.
I think she's a comedic genius.
Yes, love her.
One of the things that I love about Dan is how he handles controversy and how hilarious it is when people come for him that are not as smart as he is. The Catholic League took out an ad in the New York Times saying, in part, "For those not acquainted with Dan Savage, his maniacal hatred of Catholicism is so strong that it would be as though David Duke were hired to produce a show about African Americans. That comparison is an understatement. Duke may be a bigot, but he is not known for his foul comments." So just to be clear, Dan Savage, who regularly talks about the damage inflicted upon particularly LGBT people by dogmatic religion, is more dangerous than David Duke, who's straight up racist.
Right.
Because what Dan says includes foul language. Savage has accused a politician of having sex with the consecrated host, which is hilarious. His filthy remarks about Jesus and our Blessed Mother are so over the top that they would make Larry Flynt blush. Probably not. Pope Benedict the 16th, Pope John Paul II, and Cardinal Francis George are portrayed as perverts. When it comes to getting down and dirty, Savage has no equal in public life. I mean, I feel like Dan Savage should just print that on the back of his next book.
Yeah. What an endorsement.
About the author.
I mean, that's crazy.
Yeah.
And the Catholic League apparently tried to put a bunch of Dan Savage's quotes in an ad and publish them, and the New York Times said no because they include too much foul language. And so the Catholic League tried to spin it as Dan Savage is so offensive the New York Times won't publish him. And all I thought was, oh my gosh, this is such great publicity for the Real O'Neills.
Yeah. Everybody's going to want to watch
I am
it.
ecstatically excited for it.
Yeah.
Can't wait.
The kid that plays the gay son is openly gay. We talked on the show about the producers worked hard to find an openly gay actor who would be excited about talking about how it was relevant both to himself as a young gay man and to the character. They didn't put it in the casting breakdown. You can't do that. But they were excited that they found someone that was already willing to be open about that. So I cannot wait.
Yeah, get excited.
And let's be honest, you could have put that money you paid for that ad to some better use, Catholic Church.
Indeed.
Yep.
Sorry about it. So, yay, Dan.
Wow.
And boo you. Also, when has that ever worked anymore? All it does is let people know about a TV show. I want to check out anything that there is controversy around.
Yes.
Right.
If I'm not interested in a show and someone somewhere is complaining about it really loudly, I'm like, well, I have to watch to know what they're talking about.
Yeah.
So, yay, The Real O'Neills next
We'll
Tuesday.
see,
Check
see
it
how
out.
it does. Yeah.
All right, flashing on. This is an interesting moment. The town of Newton Poppleford, Devon, in England. I know, right? It's already exciting.
So
They have closed down their only public restroom indefinitely after alleged increase in reports of guys hooking up in the bathroom stalls. A local resident went to use the restroom and reported this happening. "I entered the toilet to find a bearded man in his late 50s or 60s wearing a full white wedding dress. He invited me into the cubicle with him and stated the toilets in Newton Poppleford are well-known gay haunt."
Okay.
I don't
Yeah.
even under.
The town is not quite sure how to handle it.
Newton?
I don't know how to handle that. I mean, he's in a wedding dress.
I mean, it feels like Sir might be dealing with some personal
There's
issues.
some other things going on besides him trying to
Because
hook up in a stall.
Go into the bathroom and we're
So gross.
gonna get
So-
married.
So wow.
I mean,
Yeah.
I can't.
Bearded, late 50s, 60s in a white wedding dress.
In a wedding dress.
Right.
I mean,
Bless his heart.
you know, maybe he's
Yeah, bless
Looking
it.
for love in all the wrong places.
Yeah, the
Also,
wrongest place.
I feel like you could have just said no thank you and gone about your day.
Right.
Like, I
Right.
mean, I feel like I would tell it as a great story. I don't know that I would consider myself traumatized.
How small is Newton Poppleford that it only
It's a
has
town of only 1,700.
Okay.
I didn't put that in the story.
That
but
it
I
only
remember
has one public restroom.
That's it.
That
Otherwise, you got to
seems-
knock on somebody's door.
That seems
Come
precarious.
and knock on my door. I'll be waiting in a wedding dress to awkwardly proposition you.
Right. How weird.
Doesn't
So
fall trippingly off the
creepy
tongue.
and uncomfortable. That's so weird. I don't feel like that's even gay. Like the man just
Poppleford.
might have some mental health issues that need to be
Yeah.
addressed.
That's what happened.
Yeah.
And put a sign on the door that says, "Y'all, like, go to your house."
I have a real
Newton
specific
Poppleford.
image of what that looks like.
Oh
Yeah.
yes. Oh yes.
And one final
Weird.
story that I did find sad about the challenges LGBT students face in high schools. Administrators at Shadow Hills High School in Indio, California, have said students have the right to wear anti-gay stickers on their school ID badges because other students have the right to wear stickers supporting gay rights as long as the confrontation doesn't escalate. The anti-gay stickers are a small rainbow inside a circle with a line through it. They showed up about 2 weeks ago. The teacher said they can't interrupt class to express their beliefs because students have a right to be educated without fear. A teacher did say some students and staff object because they feel the gay and lesbian community has been targeted. This, to me, feels like one of those horribly bad attempts to give equal time to both sides of, quote, an argument.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, well, if I can say I'm pro-LGBT, it has to be okay for somebody else to say they're anti-LGBT. Except I can say I'm pro-equal treatment for people of all races, and I guarantee you could not say at this same school, I'm against equality for black people.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm not equating the issues, but
No,
I'm equating the like balance of pro
Exactly.
and con.
Right.
You know, I'm not saying, you know what, I'm not going down
Yeah,
the like,
yeah.
it's
Yeah,
apples
yeah.
and oranges, but
Right.
it's like, oh, you could say I'm pro-Christian, well, I'm anti-Christian, well, I'm pro-Jewish, well, I'm anti-Semitic. Like, not
Yeah.
everything
It's a
there's
slippery slope.
equal on both sides.
I just think it's
Agree.
surprising that someone cares that much to like make those stickers and wear them in a high school. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
Like, where's that coming from?
Right.
Yes.
Well, I don't think you should be able to like say I'm anti anything. Like, just you should be able to have this emblem that is whatever you're for. You know,
Right.
like so if you're for traditional families, like fine, then you get a little sticker that like has a girl drawing and next to a boy drawing.
Right.
Like,
And just
Instead
frustrating
of a
for those
slash
kids.
through your like a slash through rainbows.
rainbow.
yeah,
Right,
that's
yeah.
like
Because also, what do you have against rainbows? They're so pretty.
they are.
I mean,
I mean, I
really.
get that there's some of them are super irritated that we took that because it's stunningly beautiful. And when you see them outside, no matter who you are, it has to make you smile. And if it doesn't, you're probably a terrible person.
Yeah.
And so it sucks that we like stole that from them, but sorry about it.
Well,
well.
All right.
Shadow Hill
Let's check
High
in with
is
Crazy.
Oh my
Pat Robertson. Sweet Pappy. Dell's not here to do his Pat Robertson, but he told a recent story about a man who had contracted AIDS because he was looking for love in the gay community. But wouldn't you know it, all he needed was love of God, apparently.
Was this the guy with the wedding dress in Newton Poppleford?
It wasn't, strangely
not.
enough, but
Right.
similar.
Similar yet
He's looking for
different.
love in the wrong places.
He told the story
I'll agree
this
with
way.
that.
Robert chose the homosexual lifestyle because he craved attention from men. But along with the sexual activity came drugs, and soon Robert was facing full-blown AIDS. Every day he prayed to die until a Christian family befriended him and gave him a reason to live, and Robert was looking for acceptance to get away from an abusive stepfather. We all have these myths about homosexuality, and he was just being used by people. They just wanted him to take advantage, and he didn't know any better. When he came free, he wasn't, quote, homosexual. He was a person looking for love. He wanted the real thing, and he got it. God gave him real love. Now, we joke about Pat Robertson a lot, but my frustration is there are clearly a number of issues in this man's life that he was dealing with, in
Yeah.
addition to the fact that he is a
Right.
man who is attracted to men. The
Right.
abandonment or whatever issues that relate from the abuse from his childhood. Clearly, addiction issues were an issue in his life as well, and that
Yeah.
can keep you from finding fulfilling relationships regardless of who they are with. But for Pat Robertson, or for people to take those issues that have nothing to do with who you're attracted to and tie them together
Yeah.
and say he was an addict because he was looking for love with the wrong kind of person is sort of taking 2 + 4 and saying the answer is applesauce.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's genuinely frustrating because I feel like there are people that are damaged for lots of reasons for whatever that are taken in and misled or told something about you is the problem
Right.
rather than dealing with the actual issues. And if this man was happy as a result of this, great. But dealing with your addiction and dealing with the trauma of being abused as a child is fundamentally separate and something you need to do in order to have a fulfilling relationship as an adult with anyone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
I feel like these extremist evangelicals, they're just searching for, you know, anything that looks like, oh, post-gay or, you know, you
Cured.
cured or
Yes.
whatever you want to call it. Like they're just searching desperately for an example since there really isn't one.
And
Right,
doing
right.
more damage to him by telling him that the abuse that you experience, the addiction that you have problems with, are all tied to the fact that you're a homosexual and you need to come out of all 3 of those things.
Right. Yeah.
You know, that they're all equally, because if you look at them all as equivalent sins and tell someone
Yeah.
all of those are harmful to you.
That was something that was really irritating to me, more so than irritating, but I'm just using that word. Growing up in North Carolina in the 90s, when I grew up, you know, where I came from, there were absolutely no gay role models or gay people anywhere. If we were around or they were around, you just shoved yourself in so deep that you weren't seen at all. And since you didn't see people like that, they weren't thought of or taught or treated as actual people. It's just it's a science equation. It's someone who, you know, is someone definitely abused them when they were little, and then they made the choice to get a validation from men, and that immediately leads to drugs, and that's what a gay person is. That's literally all that they are.
And it's interesting that you say that because there's a lot of the literature surrounding how young men, particularly that end up being homosexual, a lot of the behaviors, like Focus on the Family, I read through their website once when I was being all traumatized, and lots of the ideas were correct. You have sensitive younger boys that need longer eye contact, all these things, but then they make the assumption that that's why you become homosexual.
Right.
Instead of saying that many homosexuals share similar traits as children that make them sort of separated from other children, and that's the reason they are often targeted for abuse.
Yeah.
You do see what I mean? They do the cause and effect backwards.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. And
They say you become homosexual because of these things instead of saying because they were homosexual and felt somewhat different as a young child before their sexuality developed, they were targeted
These
for
things.
these things.
I had some reparative therapy that I went to. Obviously, I don't agree with that at all, and there's reasons why I decided to do it, and definitely reasons I didn't decide to do it. But that's whatever. That's a whole other episode. But what upset me so much is how dehumanizing that is, and it's just like I said before, it's like a science equation or a science experiment. It's like, oh, you're so stupid. Like you didn't realize that you did all these steps, and that's why don't you unchoose any of that? You know, like that. They don't. There's a complete disconnect with remembering that it's a human being. You know what I mean? Like totally. And that's what Pat's not saying.
And also, when you start from the premise that there is something wrong with this, then you're looking for a reason that it went wrong and how to fix that. Instead of saying whatever the results of who you are as a person and your development in life and your genetics and all of those things, this is where you are, and that's fine because who cares?
True. Right.
If you're looking, if you start from the premise that it's wrong, this is the kind of conversations you have.
You're right.
Trudeau.
Oh my gosh, that was such a fun show.
Trudeau.
Yeah. Trudeau.
Just Trudeau.
Trudeau. Justin Trudeau.
Hey, Justin.
Hey, Justin.
Justin, we're
a little
coming
bit
for you.
thirsty.
We're coming to Canada.
I mean, I want to go to Toronto Pride now
Gonna
because
come
he's going to be
visit.
there.
That's where we're going for
Yeah.
spring break now. Forget Indonesia. Forget Indio, California.
Right.
Forget Newcastle, Poppleton.
Gentlemen,
Newton Poppleford.
it is such a pleasure to have you. You are all smart and talented. You make me think and you make me laugh. You make me a little bit better for your friendship. I think our listeners love having you here. I'm feeling all lovey and feely today. As always, you can find them on the interweb at Blake McIver and literally everywhere. At Matthew Scott Montgomery on Instagram.
It's Matthew _Scott _Montgomery. The
Right,
other one is
all
just
that.
a person in Brazil pretending to be me.
And at iRobotUJane on Twitter.
Yeah.
And Ashley Graham in multiple places and Ashley Mozelle on the Twitter.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
As always, you can send your hate tweets to me at actually Emerson. I appreciate the compliments as well. Thank you to John Williams forever and always helping us get through these shows like we know what we're doing. We love being a part of the UBN Radio family. Next week, I have very special guests, Jeffrey Self and his director for the movie that he has coming out next
You're Killing
week.
Me, right?
Yes, You're Killing Me.
Yeah.
So they will be in the studio.
Yay.
Thanks for listening. We'll see you next week.
Nice.
Now that you've found UBN Radio and discovered our quality talk shows, it's time to spread the word to friends, family, and the universe. 24 hours of music and talk. Radio without limits. That's why people keep coming back for more. That's UBNradio.com.
This is Dr. D and Neuro.